Deep beneath the ocean, far below the waves, there is a line almost too small to notice. It does not look powerful. It does not look like a machine that runs the modern world. Across the dark seabed, through cold water and slow-moving sediment, a cable lies on the ocean floor. It passes over plains of mud, around underwater mountains, across continental shelves, and through places where no human will ever walk. Inside it, tiny strands of glass carry pulses of light. Those pulses are messages, money, videos, military communications, cloud data, and the invisible movement of the global economy. Above the surface, the internet feels weightless. It feels like it lives in satellites, towers, and clouds. But most of it does not travel through the sky. It travels under the sea. Submarine cables are the hidden skeleton of the internet. They stretch from continent to continent, connecting cities that may be thousands of miles apart. From New York to Europe. From Singapore to Japan. From Africa to the Middle East. From South America into the Pacific. They are not giant tunnels. For much of their journey, they can be about as wide as a garden hose. Inside them are glass fibers thinner than a human hair. Lasers fire information through these fibers at incredible speed, turning light into the language of the digital world. Near the shore, these cables are often buried beneath the seabed, protected from anchors, waves, and fishing gear. But farther out, in the deep ocean, many of them simply rest on the bottom. They lie in darkness. They cross fault zones, deep currents, trenches, and rough terrain. They pass through a world of pressure, salt, and silence. And at both ends, they come ashore at landing stations. These landing stations are the ports of the internet. They are where the ocean cable meets the land network. From there, data travels inland through fiber lines, data centers, phone networks, banks, governments, and homes. This is why one quiet building near a beach can matter as much as a satellite launch site or a military base. Because whoever controls the route, the landing point, the equipment, and the repair access can influence how information moves across the planet. This does not mean there is one secret switch that controls the internet. The system is too large for that. But it does mean the internet has geography. It has choke points. It has borders. It has weak places. And many of those weak places are underwater. For decades, submarine cables were treated as technical infrastructure. Important, but mostly invisible. Engineers planned them. Ships laid them. Companies maintained them. The public rarely thought about them unless something went wrong. That has changed. Today, the demand for data is exploding. Streaming, cloud computing, online banking, artificial intelligence, remote work, defense systems, and global trade all need fast connections between continents. Technology companies are no longer just using the cables. Many are helping build them. Google, Meta, Microsoft, Amazon, telecom companies, and national governments all want more capacity. They want lower delay. They want routes that do not depend too heavily on a single region, a single country, or a single landing point. A new cable can become an economic corridor. It can turn a country into a digital hub. It can decide whether an island has reliable access to the global internet, whether a financial market stays connected, or whether a military command can move data across oceans in seconds. This is why undersea cables have become a quiet part of global power. A map of the internet is also a map of influence. Look at the routes, and you begin to see the shape of the modern world. Cables cluster around North America, Europe, East Asia, and the Middle East. They pass through narrow seas and strategic waters. They land near major cities, naval regions, and cloud computing centers. Some countries want more cables because more cables mean resilience. Others worry about who builds them, who owns the equipment, and who may be able to watch the data as it passes through. In the United States, regulators have tightened rules around submarine cable systems, especially where foreign technology or foreign control may create national security risks. In Europe, officials have moved to invest more in cable protection, detection, and repair. NATO has increased its attention in the Baltic Sea after a series of cable and pipeline incidents raised concerns about sabotage and hybrid warfare. The ocean floor is no longer just a place for science and shipping. It is becoming a security frontier. But the greatest threat to undersea cables is not always a spy ship or a military operation. Often, it is something far more ordinary: an anchor, a fishing net, a storm, a ship dragging heavy gear across the seabed. Every year, cable faults happen around the world. Most are not dramatic. Many are caused by fishing activity or anchors, especially in shallower coastal waters where human activity is dense. When a cable breaks, the internet often does not collapse. Major networks are designed with backup routes. Data can be rerouted through other cables. But rerouting is not the same as immunity. Smaller islands, remote regions, and countries with fewer connections can feel the damage much faster. A single cable fault can slow traffic, raise costs, disrupt services, or isolate communities. Repairing a cable is also not simple. First, operators must locate the fault, sometimes in rough seas and deep water. A cable ship has to reach the area. Weather can delay it. Legal permissions may be needed. If the cable is in shallow water, remotely operated vehicles can help find and cut the damaged section. In deeper water, crews may use heavy grapnels, dragging hooks across the seabed to catch the cable and bring it to the surface. Then the damaged part is removed. The glass fibers are spliced, the cable is tested, and the repaired section is lowered back into the sea. It is a strange contrast. The fastest communication system ever built still depends on ships, hooks, weather windows, and human hands working above a dark ocean. This is where the mystery of undersea cables becomes real. They are advanced, but exposed. They are global, but physical. They are protected by law, but difficult to watch. On land, a critical cable can be fenced, guarded, filmed, and inspected. Underwater, the situation is different. The ocean hides movement. Sonar can help. Patrol aircraft can scan the surface. Satellites can track ships. But below the waves, the seabed is vast. A vessel can drag an anchor. A cable can go silent. And proving whether it was an accident or an attack can be difficult. This uncertainty is what makes submarine cables so important in modern geopolitics. In the Baltic Sea, multiple undersea cables have been damaged in recent years, leading NATO and European governments to increase patrols and surveillance. In Taiwan, officials have treated cable protection as part of a wider struggle against gray zone pressure, where actions stay below the level of open war, but still create fear, cost, and instability. A cut cable may not look like a missile strike, but it can send a message. It can test response times. It can force governments to spend money. It can reveal how dependent a society has become on a few narrow routes beneath the sea. And in a crisis, cables could become even more valuable targets. This is why the future of undersea cables may involve more than just laying new lines. It may involve listening to them. Researchers are studying ways to use fiber optic cables as sensors. In some systems, tiny changes in the light inside a cable can reveal vibrations, movement, earthquakes, waves, or nearby vessels. A cable built to carry data could also become a long underwater ear. That could help detect threats earlier. It could also raise new questions. Who owns the information gathered from the seabed? Who is allowed to monitor a cable route? How do countries protect infrastructure without turning the ocean into a battlefield of sensors? The more humanity depends on the ocean floor, the more the ocean floor becomes contested. Undersea cables are not alone down there. They share the seabed with pipelines, power cables, offshore wind connections, research instruments, shipwrecks, habitats, and unknown ecosystems. The deep ocean is being pulled into the future faster than most people realize. And yet, from the surface, almost nothing changes. A beach still looks like a beach. A calm sea still looks empty. A passing ship leaves only a line of foam behind it. But below that surface is a hidden network carrying the modern world. The internet may feel like it belongs to the air, to satellites, to invisible signals around us, but its real power is colder, darker, and far more fragile. It runs through glass under pressure. It crosses borders without passports. It lies across the seabed, waiting in silence. And the next struggle for control of the internet may not begin in a data center, or a boardroom, or even in space. It may begin in the darkness beneath the waves.